Hey, Kinoda.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good.
Yeah, nice to finally talk to you.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. Yeah, shall we just get started?
Yes. Let's jump right in.
Yeah,
Dive.
yeah. So I guess first, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like why you came to Japan? Like when did you come to Japan? Like what circumstances?
Okay, so yeah, we'll try to make a long story a short one. Yeah, but
All right, I guess
so
first
I'm a
let's introduce yourself. Like Kinoda
yeah
Braithwaite.
yeah. So
Yeah.
hi everyone. My name is Kinoda Braithwaite, and I am a teacher and an author of a book that I wrote. Just give the plug here. Meal the Beautiful. And I'm originally from Toronto, Canada,
Oh,
and I actually was living in Japan for a few years, and then I moved back to Japan just recently, 2 years ago.
oh. Yeah, so where in Japan are you living?
So now I used to live actually in central Tokyo,
Oh, okay.
but after the whole, the coronavirus and all that, ah, all that scary stuff, right? I moved out to Enoshima near
Oh,
Kuginuma kind
Enoshima,
of.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's beach, man, every day. Every day we're
It's a
enjoying.
hard life, yeah.
Yeah, for some, yeah. Not for me though. Yeah.
So it's totally different than the weather in Toronto, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can say Toronto. It's a little too hot there. It's a little too hot, and not in a good way, right? Here in Kuginuma, it's like it has a nice sea breeze, a lot of surfing culture, skateboarding. Everyone's pretty relaxed, pretty easygoing, right? You can't be angry here because everyone you're like, why are you angry? This is a nice place, right? It's really nice. So
Yeah,
we're
so
doing
so
okay.
you came back to Japan 2 years ago, that's right.
Right.
And this time you came with children, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's it's a different ball game,
Yeah,
as
I
you
did the
know.
exact same thing, yeah. I,
Okay.
I moved to Japan as a single guy, lived here a few years, got married, moved
Right.
back to the States. Yeah, I'm from
Right.
Alabama originally, but
Okay. Yeah.
my wife and I lived in Hawaii for about 10 years,
Okay.
had a
So you know
daughter.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then moved back about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can never. You leave, but you're always coming back.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like a love and hate relationship, and you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Like Japanese society, what kind of things do you like and dislike about Japanese society?
What I do like. Okay. First of all, things are organized.
Yeah.
You don't really like. You go to the shop. The people are doing their job, and they're doing it well. You know, the service is amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're like you literally go to a restaurant. They're running. They're running. What? The service is amazing. It's clean. It's safe. Lots of like history. Lots of culture. Yeah, it's an amazing place, Japan. Like I have an interest in Japanese culture, and I think it's a really it's a good country, right?
Yeah.
It's a really good
Super
place.
trustworthy. Yeah, you can trust everything. If you send a package, it's gonna make it. If
Right.
if someone says they're gonna come fix your toilet, they're gonna be there 15 minutes early.
They're gonna be there and they're gonna be ready to do it and do their best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that which you don't get in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Or
Same
the
same thing in
States,
the
right?
States. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's so there is a lot of that. So I mean it is like I mean it's a good place. Like the school system, okay, there's some things that need to be improved, but overall I can't really I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's the same here. A lot of the bureaucracy that I don't like is those are the things that make it. The side effects are all the good things that we like about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Everything being on
Right.
time and everything being done right. That's all the side
Right.
effects of all
Right.
the
Right.
bureaucracy. Yeah.
Right. That's yeah.
So what do you think? Have you changed since you've been in Japan? Like the first time or this time? What do you think what's changed about yourself?
I would say that I'm more patient now.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like before when I first came, I didn't really uh, understand why people did things here the way that they did them.
Yeah.
You know,
And I
so
think
then I
like
would.
when you come back with a family, it's different than when you're here as a single guy and you're just having fun and
Definitely,
you don't
definitely.
have to interact with schools and businesses as much as when you have like a family. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like having a family, it is it's I think it's as a foreign father in Japan, I think it's not easy. Because there's like it's just culturally different
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what your expectations are as a foreign father versus say back home.
Yeah. And it's not
Yeah.
just our expectations, it's what society expects of us. Yeah.
Right. And
Which
that
isn't much as a father.
right, which is yeah, which is sad because I think the
Yeah.
thing is that uh, uh, I think that probably the more Japanese fathers would like to get involved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But just like the working culture and the way things are have been and are still continuing to be, it's hard for them to make time for their families, right? Because I see
Yeah.
them on the train. They're like a soldier. You know what I mean? They're like, whoa.
Yeah, and I
They're
used to confuse that with not loving your family. Yeah, and then it's just a different way that they show the love. Yeah, they show their love by working long hours to be able to pay
right,
for expensive, short vacations with their family. And
right, and a little bit of yeah. I mean, yeah. So there is a good level of responsibility that these guys are doing. But there's not. I think there needs to be more father involvement. Yeah, with your
yeah,
kids and those kind of things, and kind of even things out. Yeah, because
yeah, I think so too.
it's we're in a yeah we're in a fast moving pace, right? To keep everything the same. Yeah.
I think for me, one thing that I kind of realized is that this second time around for me too in Japan, like I kind of decided I'm going to be the super father. I'm going to be the one that takes the child to the doctor's appointments and dentist and city hall things and get involved in school. But the problem is that what we were just saying, Japanese expect different things from you, and they
Right.
don't look at you as a super father. They're like, "Where's the mom?"
Right. Right. Like who's like where's your boss? Where's
Yeah, yeah,
what,
exactly. It's like I take
what
my
are you
daughter to
doing?
the doctor, and they're like, "Is the mom not here?" And I was like, "No, I'm here. I can take care of whatever I need to."
But you can speak Japanese fluently.
Yeah, I can get around and communicate. My wife and I only use Japanese, and but
Okay.
still, even so, society doesn't expect me to do anything to deal with the kids. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think the kid, like, I mean, maybe, society doesn't like, who really cares about society? But your kids will obviously respect you
yeah,
because you took that extra step and you took them to the doctor's appointment and you've done all this stuff and they will respect you a lot because that's really important.
well, do you feel like it's preparing them, or are you trying to actively like prepare your children for potentially living overseas in the future?
Uh, I would say like,
Or
I
what
would say
percent?
like, no, I would say the following. I would say before I was really like keen.
Yeah,
I was like, really, yeah, you got to do this. And now I'm just like, okay, you know what? Okay, get good grades in school. Yeah. Have a good work ethic. Find your happiness. But if you want to stay in Japan, then that's fine. It's a good place to be.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
as parents, we have we have these plans for them, but then all of a sudden they start getting, 6, 7, 8 years old, and we see these like personalities that's not like us or our wives or whatever,
Right.
and it's like they have their own little personalities, and they may be good at some things, they may not be good at other things, and
Right. Yeah. I think, yeah. So my perspective would be this: you'd have to know when to push, but
yeah,
not live through the child. Like there's some parents out there, like, I mean, there's some, that try to. There's certain things that they have to do. I agree with, and then there's other things that are like, okay, maybe this. Maybe after you're booked for like 5 lessons per week. Okay, we'll give you 1 day off.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? You know what I mean? So there's kind of I think the thing is that, like, for me, if my kids grow up and they're happy and they've got a job and they find their place in the world, and so that should be my happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think when
Yeah.
seeing your kids happy and stable, safe life, that's the most important thing.
Right. Because and if they do want to go further and they want to go abroad and they want to do those things, then I'll support that.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then that's fine too. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is there anything that that we can do as foreigners here in Japan? What can we do to make lives more comfortable for ourselves, or make daily life easier for us?
Well,
Is
I
there
would
something?
say, you know what I would actually say, learning Japanese.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge. If you want to make things easier for yourself and not always rely on your spouse for every little thing, yeah,
yeah,
then make the efforts to learn like language. Like, I can't say I'm fluent, but I can, if necessary, I'll get on that Google Translate and start
yeah.
carrying it, and put it in your face. Yeah, I'll go crazy. So if necessary. But I mean, learning Japanese, trying to learn about the culture, I think that's really important. And I think I think the thing is, what I've learned is acceptance.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of had this mentality. My biggest difference was being here at 30 and coming back at 40. The biggest
Right.
difference was at 30 when I left Japan. I had this mentality of like, uh, maybe we can kind of get along the lines of like race in Japan too. Yeah,
Right.
because obviously we're both different and we look different than everyone else around us. Yeah.
Right, definitely. Yeah, one of
And
these things just doesn't belong here.
yeah, and it's like if I just go into a convenience store or go into the supermarket, sitting on a train like every foreigner experiences,
Right,
and everybody slowly kind of drifts away. It's packed with high school kids, but no one's around you. And
right,
and it's like, and you get the stares every day. But at 30 years old, I had this thing like, why is everyone staring at me? And it's
right,
this aggressiveness. And coming back at 40, I think it was more like you just said, acceptance um, and just treating each other as one-on-one as equals. And I didn't feel that aggressiveness that I had before when I was younger. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Because I mean, you've got a family now, so you don't have the energy.
yeah, that's part of it.
You're trying to get angry. You're like, I'm tired.
Yeah. And it's like you want to be a good role model for your children too.
Right.
And it's just, I think now, especially where I live in a countryside area in Tochigi, and there are
Okay.
lots of foreigners around me, but not many white foreigners, but there's lots of like Middle Eastern, there's lots of Sri Lankans.
Right.
I'm near a university, it's a technical university. So there's quite a few Africans, but they're kind of divided between like Southern Africans that speak English and Northern Africans that speak French and Arabic.
Aha.
And,
Okay.
and they kind of tend to not mingle with each other so much.
Right.
And most of the Sri Lankans around there, most of them are Muslim, and then they don't mix with the non-Muslim Sri Lankans.
Oh
And it's
my.
like there's all these foreigners, but no one's still mingling with each other much.
Right. But I think, I mean, there's positives and negatives to being a foreigner in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's some things that are like you get away with
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lower
because you're like, "Oh, I
expectations
don't
for us.
understand
Yeah.
this. You mean wait in line?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's some things that you get away with that Japanese people would not get away with because they
Yeah.
know, so as a foreigner, there's some things that you can get away with. And then there's some, I would say, closed-mindedness, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's what, at least the way I feel. At
And
least
I
the
think
way that
it's, yeah, I think so. I think you're right. It's probably just a matter of people not being used to people that look different than themselves. Yeah.
right. Like I think it's at least in Canada. Okay, so if you come over, you come from another country, okay, you learn English, yeah. You
Yeah.
learn the national anthem. You go to school. You learn all these things, and we look at you as you're Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Japan, you could really know a lot of stuff about Japanese culture. You could speak fluently, but you are well, you are,
Yeah.
and you are
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
like us. That's the impression I get. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
think is there anything the government can do to make life easier for foreigners in Japan?
You know what I think they should do is what they do in, like, say, the European countries, like say Austria or Germany. They make it mandatory that you have to learn Japanese,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and they actually give like coupons and discounts on courses.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea.
And so they want to integrate the people into the society. So in
Yeah.
Austria, they want them to learn like German, and they want them to get integrated into society so that they have less problems, like with these people coming. Yeah. So that's why they make an effort to like give a lot of language lessons. And then that way that the people, they can get better jobs. The
Yeah.
government can
Exactly.
tax them more, and then everything is like, they're trying to integrate people more.
What do you think? Just from your experience, like Asian foreigners versus non-Asian foreigners, are there different standards? Like from what I've seen, like some of my friends that are Chinese living here in Japan, or even my neighbors are Vietnamese,
Right.
and it's like, I get treated differently in a good way. And then it's like if they just speak a little Japanese, it's like, why don't you speak better Japanese? And it's like all I
Right.
have to do is say good morning, and they're like, oh, your Japanese is really good.
They're like, yeah. Right. Because I think that's like I'm not Japanese, so I really can't speak on it. I would only be guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's maybe because you're from America, right? So America and Japan are on similar levels, I think. Yeah. Like I mean, they're like, we're gonna kick you out of here. Well, where are you going? Oh, America. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know what
like
I mean?
they're
Now
both
I
kind of
think
insular countries. Yeah.
when you're coming from, say, I don't want to say like a lesser place or whatever, you're coming from, say, a place where it's not economically as good as Japan,
Yeah.
maybe they're not as friendly towards you as they would be from somebody that's coming from a stronger country. That's just
Yeah.
my
Like
opinion.
an advanced kind of like a first world country. Yeah.
Right, if we want to use those terms, right? So I think the
Yeah.
thing is that they I think that the foreigners that are from, say, the Asian countries, they experience it, but just in a different way. And sometimes in their way, they can easily blend in
Yeah. They're kind of forced to blend it. They can blend in visual, like by their
visually. Yeah,
looks, but
yeah.
then it's like when they open their mouth, it's like, wait, you're
Then
not
that's
Japanese.
yeah, exactly. And you're not like us, right? So
Yeah.
that's I mean, yeah, it has its advantages and disadvantages. Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
that's something that the country needs to change,
Yeah.
because I think it's like if you bring in hardworking people from all over the world, your country is going to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. What do
Like
you
we're
think
not
prevents, like, what prevents, I hate to use that word, like first world, developing, and third
right.
world
Yeah.
countries, but what do you think prevents more people from advanced countries to come here to pursue careers like medical or lawyers, or because that's true. It's like in Japan, you have like the English teaching world, and
Right.
then you have other people that come here for short term, but then you have people from developing countries that are here for almost like just labor jobs in factories
Right.
and
I don't see a lot of. I think the thing is that's the language
yeah,
and
that's, I think so too. Yeah.
language, and then the other thing is opportunity and working conditions.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I mean, if you are, say, an engineer in, like, say, or like an IT guy, and you have a job, say, the States, it's going to pay more. It's going to be less
yeah.
stressful. You know what I mean? There's not going to be Tanaka-san breathing on you, right?
The chain of
You know what I mean?
command, the military type chain of command.
Yeah, and you're actually gonna, like, be like making things, and you're gonna be. I mean, obviously in IT, it's a lot different than these regular companies, but I think that the one thing is like the language, right? And
Yeah,
I
I think so
think
too.
like if somebody were to choose, like, say, Japan versus, say, like a Hong Kong or America or Canada, and they have the skills, I think they would choose those countries, and it's just easier for them to become a citizen.
Yeah, I think society is a little more accepting, and you get better paid for your skills. Yeah,
Right. So I mean, like, Japan is like, I mean, if somebody, say, we have somebody that's coming from India, and they're looking at, like, okay, so we've got Canada, we've got Japan, I can develop, say, software or something. Probably Canada would give me more opportunity to become a Canadian, to have my family become a Canadian, and then to, be accepted as part of society. That's just my opinion.
yeah,
Uh,
I agree with you. Yeah, I've got
like some,
a friend of mine's on a refugee visa.
right. Oh,
His
that's
whole
tough.
family is
Yeah.
here right now, and he's from the Middle East, and he was thinking about getting Japanese citizenship. And I was like, why would you want to do that? And he said it would open up opportunities to go live in Canada or the States or another
Right.
country versus having his country's passport. So he
Right.
was thinking of getting citizenship just to have more opportunities to go overseas.
Right.
Where
I
like
mean,
my
it's a
mentality
good.
was, I was like, if you get Japanese citizenship, you're never going to be able to leave Japan. Or it's
No,
like
no, no.
you
It's
want
a
to stay here
strong
forever.
country. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a strong passport. I think Japan is like one of the strongest passports in the world.
Yeah, that's what they say. More countries
Yeah,
accept Japanese
and
passports.
even stronger than Canada.
Yeah.
Take my hat off to Japan for that.
So what do you
Yeah.
think for like your children? Like we were just talking about like West Asian foreigners living in Japan
Right.
and people like us that are non-Asian foreigners living in Japan. Like for your children, do you think it's important for them to uh, to try to blend in with their classmates or to try to take advantage of that they are different and try to use that?
I think that I think that for them, and I can just see they just want to blend in.
Yeah, it's true. Like
They just
it's
want
just
it, like, they. I mean, if they were in high school and they lived abroad and then they came back to Japan, maybe they'd want to be like, yeah, look at me, look at me, look at me, right?
yeah, yeah,
But I think at their age, they're just like, okay, like their activities are like, okay, play with friends, go to the park, ride the bicycle, and go home, do my homework, have some food. Like they want a very maybe simpler life, and they want to fit in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you try to as far as like when you're with your children, do you try to make a point of talking to other foreigners so they can get more interaction with foreigners while they're here in Japan, or do they try to like, no, 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 I don't want to go talk to him, or
Well, like I will, if there's an opportunity to meet up with like some friends, and we I mean, during the coronavirus that hasn't been a possibility, right? But I think we'd meet up with other families and talk to the kids and try to interact that way. But I think it's like, I think one good thing is that if you can go back to your home country or have somebody come from your home country to visit your kids and talk to them, or Zoom or Skype or anything like that,
uh,
then it gives them like more of an open, like they can understand both sides of the family more.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you do to as far as help your kids with their English? I'm sure they speak Japanese every day with mom and
Right.
at school and friends, but what do you try to speak only English, or do they try to
Yeah, I
respond in
kind of get
Japanese?
into the thing like because they want to speak Japanese, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm like, no, 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 speak English. No, 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 speak English. No, speak English. So I say that all the time because I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I know your Japanese skill is very good. You do this at school, you practice it, right? But try to make sentences in English. Yeah.
uh, and it's either
Um,
they're gonna break or you're gonna break, and it's like it's like
well, I'm
I did
not
the
going to
same.
break.
I was the one that broke. My daughter, when we first moved back, she was 4 years old,
Right.
and in Hawaii, it was almost 50% English, Japanese at home, at work, and everything. But
Right.
when we came back, my wife and I only use Japanese, and I only spoke English with my daughter. But even now, I speak English. She only responds in Japanese. But
Right.
she started doing that after we'd been back for a few months when she was like 4 or 5,
Right.
and I went through this phase of like, I'm just gonna ignore you if you don't speak English to me. And so
Right.
she just starts focusing on mom, yeah, and she just stopped talking to me.
Oh,
So,
Jesus. Okay.
so I figure, I better at least, whether it's English or Japanese or whatever, better at least have a
Talk to
relationship
her.
versus just ignoring each other. Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, it's like, okay, and this is just my opinion. Again, what's more important? To have a good relationship with your child or to force a language that they can't really see a need for right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so some parents are like, oh, the kid can't speak English fluently and blah blah blah, da 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 da. And it's like, well, if the child wants to learn English, then you can expose them, like reading and talking to them and making the effort. But
Netflix.
you forcing them, you might like lose them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like you got to find the right balance. Yeah.
We've made a point of in the house, like if my daughter wants to watch TV, she only watches English Netflix and
Right.
YouTube. If she's watching something Japanese, I'm like, you can watch it, but just in English.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of learning like ningen kanke, like human, like learning about relationships through like Full
Right.
House, and not just watching like animation and that kind of stuff, but
Right.
learning about Western relationships through like Full House and those kind of TV
Yeah.
shows.
It's a good show. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
tough,
No,
yeah.
I mean that. I mean that's a start, right? And it's like, and you're there. You're actually like being a part of their life and stuff. So I think that's really important, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all hope that our child will be like a superhuman and like some super soldier that will just like now you have to learn English, ding, and now you have to do this, ding, like it's just not like that. It's just yeah.
Yeah, the reality is like different than what we have in our heads. Yeah.
Exactly, right. They have their own life, they have their own way, and we can give them the opportunity and try to like help them to get there. But I've kind of relaxed a lot more on that,
Yeah.
yeah. I've kind of relaxed. I've kind of said, okay, you know what? Like it's me doing all the pushing, maybe not the right approach, right? Maybe like say, okay, this is a long-term game. Yeah. And we'll create opportunities for them to learn English, but not to like force it, and then get them turned off
Yeah,
when they
exactly.
stop
That's
talking to you.
important. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
don't turn
Yeah.
them off of any potential opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and in the end, let's say, so you've got this book out now called Mio the Beautiful, about your daughter.
Right.
And can you tell us a little bit like why you wrote the book and about the book?
Okay. So why I wrote the book is that I really had a fear of my daughter going to Japanese school. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the first 2 years that she went there, she had no problems. No problems, like school, pretty happy going, easygoing kid, good grades. Like, I was like, oh, wow, this is different than what I expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had this like mentality, oh, she looks a little bit different. So I'm thinking somebody's going to bully her. And that didn't happen for the first like 2 years where she was going to school. Then she came home from school and then she's like, Dad, I don't want to go to school. So I'm like thinking, okay, is it the teacher? What's the problem, right? And she's like, I just don't want to go there, right? And I'm like, keep asking, Like, come on, give me the answer. Give me the answer. You know what I mean? So I'm doing that. And she's like, I just don't want to go, right? And I'm like, what really is a problem, right? And then she's like, well, there's some kids that are making fun of my skin color, right? And that's the reason why I don't want to go. And then I was like, what are their names? And
Where do they live?
going straight into dad mode, right? What are their names?
Turn into Terminator mode, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, so you know what? I was like, well, and you know what? I'm thinking, okay, I'm a teacher, but I'm also a parent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't you just hit them? Like, just like, it's like, Dad, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, Dad, like, I don't want to do that, right? She's like, that's not going to solve it, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. That's not going to solve it, right? And then me going down to the school, pointing out the kids, and going after them, that's not going to solve it either. Yeah,
that can make her situation even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and even mine, I'll be put in jail, right? I won't be any use, right? So, so we contacted the principal, and I thought it was going to be dealt with and I'm sorry to say this, but I thought it was just going to be brushed under the carpet. Nothing is wrong.
Yeah, that's typical way of dealing with problems here. Yeah, you just hide it.
Yeah, it's just like you're just being that hysterical foreigner. Calm down. We've got it all under control, and just swept under the carpet. And that was going to be the end of it. And then she would just have to suffer the bullying. Because I think, like, I've worked in Japanese schools, and what the teacher said to me, there's always one kid that's going to get bullied. In every class.
Sad that they just say that right off the bat.
Yeah, they just say, like, matter of factly, there's like, we've got 40 kids here, 75% of them we've got to get through. The other 15, okay, whatever. And then there's going to be one kid that's going to be bullied. That's kind of like, because they're like, I got 40 kids. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's sad that they throw those facts and it scares the parents. Yeah,
yeah, I was like,
someone's gonna die. Oh, I don't know who it's gonna be, but
yeah. So that's the experience. So I'm coming in there with these preconceived notions, and so the principal was like, he was a stand-up guy, and he's like, no, that's wrong. He goes, that doesn't happen here at our school. That's 100% wrong.
It's awesome that he dealt with it like that. Like,
yeah, he's like, he talked to the parents, he called them up, and he says, like, your kid's doing this. They need to stop that immediately, right? So he was kind of a very proactive man. So I have a lot of respect for what he did. But my daughter's teacher, she didn't really know what to do and how to talk to the kids.
Yeah.
Because I think at that age, it's like having an adult figure say something and say, hey, no, we don't, because she's never like lived in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And then not to say you have to be like live in a foreign country, but if you live in Japan, she might experience like sexism, but she's never experienced like racism,
and here it's like you just, gaman tsioi, like just holding it in is that's a virtue here in Japan, is you got to hold things in.
Right. And I'm like, that's not, she doesn't want to go to school. I mean, this is a kid that was doing okay. So I went to the school, I did a presentation.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And I brought in, like, I was like, okay, this is Canada. We have hockey players. These are some Black Canadian hockey players. We have basketball players. We have musicians. We have different people that look different, And I did like a presentation. And the parents that of the kids that were bullying my child, the mother actually translated for me.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, I want to see the presentation. And then the kids afterwards that were bullying my daughter, they came up to me and they're like, Mr. Kanoda, come back at any time. They're like, yeah, we want you to come back.
And in the Japanese style is like, if kids have a problem, then the parents try to avoid each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that like you guys work together with the parents and
right.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So then they stopped bullying her because the parents were like, no, that's wrong. And you got to get along with her. And I donated some books to the school. about like peace and those kind of things.
Oh, cool.
But then I thought to myself, I was like, hey, wait a second. There's other kids out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's other parents out there that are feeling the same way like I felt. Like you
yeah.
feel helpless because you're like, what the heck? Like I'm working so hard. I've done this, I've done that. I just want to send them to school and I don't want to have to worry about them being bullied.
And then the
That
parents that don't want to come forward, they just, especially Japanese style is you don't want to
Yeah,
be the nail that sticks out. So it's like, if there is a
right,
problem, it's like, let's just not let it show. Yeah.
right. So then I said to myself, well, um, this is something that needs to be addressed. And I want to like have a tool for teachers so that they can read it to their class
Oh yeah, yeah.
or a parent can read it to their child.
And so
Yeah.
that's why you wrote the book.
That's why I wrote the book. So basically my whole like mission and my whole like way of being is I just want to stop the bullying in Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
I
All over
just
the
want
world,
to,
yeah.
and in the world. I want to start with Japan. I'm doing like a fight, like and not a physical, like but it's like a fight, and I just want to like to make books that address the issue in a peaceful way
Yeah.
and provide solutions to like serious problems.
Ah, so where
Yeah.
can people buy your book?
So they can find it on Amazon,
Oh, okay, Amazon or Amazon, any Amazon, yeah.
any Amazon, and it's also on Book Depository.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then I um, I also do like speaking, like not with the coronavirus, like now, but I'm trying to get out there to the schools
yeah,
and then talk to the students because I think that's really effective when you actually like talk to them and they see that there's a person behind it.
yeah,
And so right now I'm just trying to like get the message out there that, you know what, we can do better than this. Yeah. Let's not judge somebody because they look different. Judge them by their character, not the color of their skin.
yeah,
That's what Martin
exactly.
Luther King said. And try to help parents and help kids because there's a lot of kids out there. That's like when I write the books, I basically visualize. I think, okay, there's a child, and that child is being bullied. What can I do?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and how can I write the story that will help them to regain their confidence and to make them feel like they can be accepted.
So your book is kind of geared towards children and the parents both, so they can.
Right, and then the teachers, because a lot of the times the teachers, they really don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's true.
They
Yeah,
didn't learn this in teachers college. Like they learned some techniques, but they like, especially like, I mean, your daughter has by two heritages.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So some teachers, that's their first experience with a child that looks slightly different.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it looks slightly different. That's the first experience. So sometimes they don't know how to deal with it, right?
And with the
So,
parents too. Yeah, they don't know how to
and just
interact
with the
with parents.
parents, right? So yeah, so I thought there's a lot of this, and I need to help those kids and help those teachers address this issue. And then yeah, so I basically started out of it as a desire to help kids.
So how
And
how
then
has your daughter reacted? Is she like going to school now and playing with her friends and
no problems at all. Yeah, yeah.
how
And
does she accept like you promoting this book? Is she like, just stop it, Dad, leave me alone? No,
well,
just-
with the book, it's very traumatic. It's very because it's not a really it wasn't a really good point in her life. Yeah.
yeah, she probably
So
wants to forget it. Yeah,
she wants to just forget it, right? So with the book, it's kind of like touch and go.
yeah.
Yeah.
But with traumatic things, I think it's as adults, it's best to face them head on and
Yeah, as adults, right? But I can say with her, she was like, I made a song too that goes with the book.
Oh,
So
cool.
she likes the song, but the book, she's like, Dad, let's like not talk about that anymore. But that's just her. That's just but I think for me, it's like it's just I wanted to do something to make a change and to make a stand because I've
That's
had
cool.
enough. Yeah, I've had enough of hearing of parents that have to go through this thing, and especially the kids, right? So
Yeah.
I just said, you know what? My daughter went through this, and I do not want any other child to go through this. I really want to. I really want to stop the bullying in Japan, and
Yeah.
there's too many instances of it. It's wrong, and this is this is the way I uh, make my message heard, right? And
Yeah.
this is the only way I know.
Yeah.
So just talking and trying to say, hey, people, this is not right. And then a lot of the times when you just say that, then the kid's like, yeah, you know what? It isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't fair. You know what I mean? This isn't nice to do this to somebody.
I think
Um,
kids are more capable of adapting than adults are. Yeah. So I think even for like your
correct.
message about bullying, children are more capable of changing their ways and changing their mentality versus adults that have been bullying people all their life. It's
Right.
easier to change children. So
Right.
I've always thought I have a few children's books as well, and the main purpose was to best way to change society is through children. Adults,
Right.
it's hard to change the way an adult thinks, but
Right.
children are
Right.
so impressionable. Yeah.
Right. And it's a positive message. Like I haven't had anybody like say to me, no, stop talking about that, or like, or we don't want to support that, right? Everyone has been very supportive of the work, right? Because they're like, okay, like I'm really, really trying my best to spread this word, to get out there, to get the book out there into schools,
Yeah.
and to get people talking about it, and to get like this issue raised, and then that way, then when the kids go to school, they don't have to worry about, like, that should be the farthest thing at your mind.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
should worry about your child being bullied. Like a lot of parents do that are foreign, even Japanese parents. They're worried, is my child going to get bullied?
Yeah.
You know,
It shouldn't be an issue at school. Yeah.
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Like, if we had this at a company,
Yeah.
yeah, if there was a company that was like chronically bullying people, they would do something about it. They would shut it down, or they would change it. There would be some, protest, or there'd be some
Yeah.
lawsuits, or, something would happen, right? So I think there's a lot of work that can be done.
Do you think smaller class sizes would be better for like teachers could keep a closer eye on things like that?
I mean, that would help. That would help. And I think the teacher training,
Yeah. Yeah. Educating the
uh,
teachers. Yeah.
yeah, to how to deal with it, and it especially comes from the leadership of the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends on who the leader is. Like if the leader was like a guy like at my daughter's school who's like, that's nonsense,
Yeah.
then that really helps. But I think the leadership and the parent training, these kind of things would really help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just having like an awareness of it, because it is like, if we want to stop it, we've got to all come together and try to stop it. It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah. It's a
It's
group effort.
something
Yeah.
that, yeah, it is a group effort. So it's like, I think it's like probably the most serious issue in Japanese schools.
Yeah.
I can't think of another issue that's more serious than
Yeah.
bullying. Like everything
And not
ties
just
into it.
in adult society here, it's an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah. It is pretty crazy. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this, and I will keep. I'll just keep fighting. You know what I mean? And just
Yeah.
fighting by spreading the word of peace.
Yeah. Well, I'll do what I can to help you with your cause, and yeah, we'll
Yeah,
spread the message and do whatever we can. It's definitely not something that we want our kids to go through. Yeah, in Japan.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Definitely no.
for like a final message, do you have any advice for foreign fathers in Japan? Like any kind of advice or things they shouldn't do, or things they should do?
Don't get your wife angry.
I
No,
think
I'm
that's
joking.
universal. Yeah, not just for
Yeah,
Japan.
exactly. I think the thing is that I think I would just say keep an open mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, maybe raising your child in Japan will be different than what you were used to.
Yeah.
But if they're happy and they're doing okay in school and they're progressing, then you can be happy and that you're doing something to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think getting involved in school is it a good way to kind of show your daughter that you're getting involved, or is it better just to kind of let her do her thing? Yeah.
No, I think it's really, really important that, especially as a foreigner, you need to be making people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's our
Like,
job.
I mean, it sounds bad, but you need to be that guy that's going to show up at the meeting.
Yeah.
You need to be the guy that's going to show up, at certain events and certain things where they're not really expecting you to be there.
Yeah. Be the one to rock the boat when everyone else is like, no one
You
rock the
don't
boat.
really need to be like controversial or whatever, right? But you need to be there, right? So that they know that, like, okay, when things go down, like, Paul he's there.
Yeah, someone's gonna
He's
call
there,
them
you know what I mean?
someone's gonna call them on their stuff. Yeah, if they do
Yeah.
something
So
wrong.
I think the thing is that when you're there, as much as you can, I think, and then when the kids see you there, there's less likelihood of your child being bullied.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because the parent is there, like, you know what I mean? The bullies, they really look for certain things. I mean, with my daughter, it just came out of the blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That really came out of the blue. I really wasn't expecting that.
They're gonna be like, no one date her. She's got the dad with the shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was pretty unexpected, but we dealt with it. We moved on. It was not a positive experience, but out of this experience, I wrote this book, and I've been able to help other kids.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Well,
yeah.
I'll spread the message about your book, and yeah, I'd love to talk to you in the future about maybe some more. We could probably talk for weeks about different,
Definitely, definitely.
yeah, well, maybe after all this Corona is done, we can get together in person, and yeah, I'd like to talk to you more about some of the
Right.
issues in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do another one for sure.
Yeah, well, look forward to talking to you in the future, and good luck with your book, and good luck with your kids. Yeah, and yeah,
Okay,
cherish the
thank
times
you very
together.
much. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll
We
talk to you
appreciate it.
soon. Okay, thanks a lot, Kinona.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Bye for now.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.